We are live.
We're not live, but we are now being recorded. So, okay. All right. I hate it when my mask gets caught on my earrings. You would think I would just quit wearing earrings, but no. I like my sparkly things too much. Okay. So, we are... Brady, wake up. Brady, wake up. Okay, that's on the video. All right.
Did you edit it out?
Remember, no.
You don't know how to edit?
I don't have that software on my phone. So we just, we are very real. We're very authentic on our videos.
Just hook your phone up to your computer.
Right. Okay, so, we are on page 66 of The Race. And we talked yesterday about how this is realistic fiction. And we talked about, we found a simile and we talked about some imagery. And we're going to keep going in the questions. So, it's kind of, I don't think I've told you this, but in my teacher's manual, there are these discussion questions. And that's where I get most of the questions that I ask you. Sometimes somebody will have a good comment and that'll lead me to ask a different kind of question, right? And so I'm pretty flexible with it, but this is a good starting place for me. They have them divided into questions that are literal, like this has an answer, and you can put your finger on it in the book where the answer is. And then some of them are a little bit more, you kind of have to think about it before you answer, right? So here's our first literal question. What was the prize for winning the race? If Debbie wins the race, how much money is the prize?
Like $200?
It is $200. Now, that is actually a clue to us about the time period.
Oh, it was on back then when like mine was like worth more.
Because of inflation.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, mine is worth less. Or more money you print, the more money there is, which means the more the mine is worth less.
That's a very simplified version of what happens. Yeah, there's a little more to it than that, but yeah, you're not wrong. So we know that a race like this would have a much bigger prize today. But we also know that it's considered modern day because they have a truck. You know, they're driving a car. So we know it's not the 1800s, right? And we know it's later because we know that they've got this truck. So probably my guess is maybe mid 20th century. So maybe the 1940s or 50s or 60s, somewhere around there. Let's take a look at our author biography, which I think is at the end. They don't have an author biography for us. Rude. Okay. So I actually don't know anything about her. So that would also give us a clue as to the time period that it's set in.
I see the author's name at the beginning.
Yeah, the author's name, but we would have to look her up. So that might also give us a clue. Because obviously, if she died in 1945, then it's not set in 1960. Because this is a kind of a present day story. Okay, so the $200 is a big deal. We know it's a really big deal, so we know that this is not taking place like in the 2000s. Because a race like that, you wouldn't be able to pay a veterinary bill with $200 nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
No.
It'd be a lot more.
Yeah. So, okay. So why is it so important for Debbie to win this race? Hope?
So they can pay like all the bills.
They got to pay their bills. What bills do they got to pay, Johnny?
Their vet bills.
The vet bills, and what else do they got to buy? What do you got to have if you're going to have pets?
Yeah.
Leash?
Well, what do you got to have or the pet will die?
Food.
Food. Yes, you got to have food. Right, so they got to, specifically, they need to pay the veterinary bills and the feed bills. And remember what I said, how much huskies eat? racing huskies?
Oh,
It was like
1,500. No, 10,000.
No, it's like
Oh,
10,000
the
calories.
1,500 calories.
It was
How much? Yeah, they can. A pet dog is about 15,000 or
Yeah.
1,500 calories.
That's what I was
1,500. A sled dog needs up to 10,000 calories a day. So the feed bills are pretty high for dogs that race. Same way we talked about yesterday about how athletes have to eat more. They have to eat more to fuel their bodies. And depending on the kind of athlete they are, weightlifters have to eat more and differently than, say, a sprinter. But these dogs have to eat a lot because they're burning a lot of calories. Why isn't Mark racing instead of Debbie? Mark's the racer. Brady?
He has a.
Take your mask down when you answer.
He has a. I think it's a broken leg, and he can't do it for a month.
He is injured. He injured his leg. How old is Mark? How old is Mark? Johnny?
I don't know exactly, but I'd say he's a young man now.
He is a young man. It's actually on page 66. The exact age that he is on page 66. It says how old he is. It's written as a word instead of, you're not going to see like numbers, you're going to see the word for the number. Grace? He's 17. He's 17. It says there, Mark was only 17 and the man of the family now, a heavy burden of responsibility for him to carry. Why do you think what do you think Mark means when he says, I sure wish I could have a try at that prize today? What does he mean by that? Johnny?
He wishes he could race.
He does, but why? Why does he wish it was him and not Debbie? Brady? To win?
He was jealous.
Maybe a little bit jealous.
It's because Debbie always like stops and helps people, and she's not focused.
He
on
thinks he has a better chance of winning. Yeah, you're right.
I'd say that too.
He thinks he has a better chance of winning. But in the end, it works out though, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when Mark is telling Debbie all the things she has to do, how do you think that makes her feel? When Mark's telling
Nervous.
her, you need to do this and you need to do this and you need to do this. Grace?
Overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed.
That was mine.
That was your answer? Nervous. If you already know how to do something and somebody comes along and starts telling you how to do it.
I'd be a little angry.
Annoyed.
Annoyed? How? So if I already know how to do something and you come along and you say, okay, so now you need to do this and you need to do this. What do I think that you think about me?
That makes
You don't know anything.
Yeah.
You don't know anything. Yeah.
But you're not capable.
That you're not capable. Okay,
You're-
well,
you're
I know
bad.
you think you know this, but you're kind of dumb, so I'm going to tell you again anyway, right?
You're
And
bad
so
at
it probably made her feel pretty like he has no confidence in her. It probably hurt her feelings. Because I want you to think about a young girl this age. Young ladies this age, and I speak as a person who was once upon a time a young lady this age. They're not all like this, but they tend to get their feelings hurt pretty easily. Young ladies this age tend to get their feelings hurt pretty easily. So, again, there's always exceptions, right? You always meet that one girl who never gets her feelings hurt in anything. But girls this age tend to get their feelings hurt. And can you imagine your own brother? You know, somebody that's supposed to be supportive of you and love you and, you know, and he's like, I wish I could race. Okay, well, since I can't, let me tell you what you have to do, Debbie. Never mind that she's been racing all of her life, right? So I think, you know, when we were talking about, Talon said annoyed, we're talking about, you know, hurt, kind of makes her more nervous. All of those things are probably pretty true. Probably pretty true. Mark has a specific attitude about winning. What is Mark's attitude about winning? Johnny?
You either win or you don't.
Yeah. Okay, explain that a little bit more. Somebody else, Talon.
He hates losing.
He hates losing. I don't think anybody likes losing. I mean,
He knows that they really. He knows that they really need the money and they need to win. And if they lose, it's.
His attitude is that winning is the only thing that matters. Nothing else matters. Winning is the only thing that matters. Now, for people who play sports, right, this is an easy trap to fall into, isn't it? Like if you're on a team, you want to win, right? That's your goal, obviously. That makes sense, right? You want to win. Nobody goes in there going, I'm going to lose today. Yay! That's my goal. I'm going to lose, right? That's not ever anybody's goal. Everybody's goal is always to win. But you know how there are some people who are never happy with playing their best? If they don't win, they throw a hissy fit, or they are rude to the team that did win. They're a bad sport. We've all seen people like that, right? That they're a bad sport when they lose. And so if you play with somebody like that, what does it do to your enjoyment of the game if you play with somebody like that? Kind of sucks the fun out.
And they think you're with them, so then you'll be really embarrassed.
Yeah. So it's kind of, so Mark's attitude about winning, how does that affect Debbie?
She's scared.
She's scared. It's taken all the fun of it out of it for her. In fact, on page 66, look in the second column.
She says
Where it says, starts out, Debbie closed her eyes in the second column. Debbie closed her eyes to shut out the determined, hard look on her brother's face. How changed he was since Dad died. It used to be fun to drive in the sled dog races, but now Mark's obsession with winning took away any pleasure. Now, at first, you kind of are like irritated with Mark. Like, relax, dude. But the more we learn about it, the more compassion we have for Mark, right? That he's trying to do his best in a bad situation. Have you ever known anybody like that where maybe they weren't doing exactly what you would have done, but you knew they were just trying to do their best?
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens all the time, doesn't it? And so I love the way, and this is something I want to point out to you, this is one of the ways in which this story is actually really realistic. That it shows us kind of two sides to things. Like at first we're irritated with Mark for the way he's treating Debbie, and then we understand why. He's worried, he's scared, he's nervous, right? As we go along, we find those things out, don't we? And so then, even though we think Mark needs to let up a little bit, we start to have compassion for what he's going through. Mark's words obviously hurt Debbie. He's hurt her feelings. Why do you think she's so quick to forgive him? Johnny?
Because she understands what he's going through.
She understands what he's going through. Hope?
He's her brother.
He's her brother. He's her brother. This is her family, right? We often forgive our family pretty quickly, don't we? Right? Somebody that's a member of your family has to be pretty awful to be cut out of the family. You know, I've known people who've put up with awful things from their family because it's family and they love them, right? So she's pretty quick to forgive Mark because of how much she loves him. Okay. So, page 67. A little more time. Yeah, we're good. Page 67. What race was Debbie racing in? What race was Debbie racing in? Brady?
5-dog race in Class B.
The 5-dog race in Class B. You are correct. I repeated that in case they couldn't hear it on the video. And how long is this race, Johnny?
6 miles.
6 miles. That is correct. Now, Debbie is, do you guys know what the word extrovert means?
Extrovert?
Extrovert. Extrovert and introvert. Do you know what those words mean?
Yeah.
Johnny, what's an extrovert?
Extrovert is a person who likes to spend a lot of time outside and enjoys it. And an introvert is a person who likes to spend a lot of time inside and enjoys it more.
You know, that actually definition makes sense, but it's not quite right. You would think, outside and inside, but it's actually, Grace, do you know?
Introvert's somebody that likes spending their time with themselves and doesn't like being around people as much, and an extrovert likes being around people and talking to them and having conversations.
An extrovert gets their energy and feels best when they're around lots of other people. An introvert gets their energy and feels their best when they're by themselves or with one or two close friends. Okay? This is something a lot of people don't know about Mr. Hansen. Like when you meet Mr. Hansen, most people think he's an extrovert because he's not shy. A lot of people misunderstand. Not all introverts are shy. Being shy is something different. Just because you like to be by yourself doesn't mean you're shy. A shy person is a little bit afraid to talk to people. Mr. Hansen's not shy at all, but he does need his alone time. Okay? What kind of person do you think Debbie is? Do you think she's an introvert or an extrovert? Talon?
The introvert.
Look again. Let's go over to page 67.
No, she's an extrovert because she likes to talk to other
Yeah,
people.
she likes to talk to other people. It says usually Debbie enjoyed visiting with other drivers, talking shop, renewing acquaintances with out-of-town friends. Usually she enjoyed all that. You can be she seems a little bit more extroverted to me. Now, I mean, it's possible that, she's like when she goes home, she goes into her room and she wants to be alone. But, from what I can see here, she's somebody she's kind of friendly. She's a more extroverted type of person. So, usually, she was extroverted. She liked to socialize with the other drivers. Why did she avoid the other drivers this time? Why did she avoid them? Brady?
Because she wanted to win and Mark wanted her to win. She was doing what Mark said.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Let's say most of the time.
Johnny? That was a big yawn.
Mark said not to.
Mark said not to? She was really nervous. She just, because of all the talk from Mark about, don't help every driver along the trail. Don't look at the scenery. Just concentrate on winning, right? And so she's a little nervous. And if I talk to some of these other drivers even before the race, is Mark going to get mad at me? Have you ever kind of had to walk on? We call that walking on eggshells around a person. Somebody who makes you nervous. Mark was making her really nervous. Debbie talked to a stranger even though she didn't feel like it. It says that a stream of racing fans and curious spectators walked by, staring at the dogs and their owners. One man asked Debbie, "Which race are you in, miss?" "The 5-dog race in Class B," she answered. "It's 6 miles long." And the man starts conversing with her, and she doesn't know him. He's not another driver, but she goes ahead and talks with him. So even though she didn't feel like it, what does that tell us about her personality? That even though she was nervous and afraid and she was kind of trying to avoid everybody, this person came up and spoke to her and started asking her questions, and she went ahead and answered his questions. So what does that tell you about the kind of person that Debbie is? What do you think about her as a person? Johnny?
She likes to talk.
She likes to talk.
She doesn't ignore people.
She doesn't ignore people. That's a good observation. Yes, Brady?
Communicative person.
Communicative person, yes. She is polite, isn't she? She puts other people's feelings before her own. She's like, okay. And she smiles and answers his questions and is just kind of a nice person. I kind of like Debbie. I want to be friends with her. I have some friends that are a lot like her, actually. You want to be friends with that kind of person? Somebody who's kind and thinks about other people's needs before their own. It's easy to like people like that. Why was Debbie happy about being the third person to race?
She gets to start first.
So not first. She's going to start third.
Yeah,
but
it's timed.
Yeah, she doesn't have to wait as long. Why is she glad that she doesn't have to wait as long?
because she says she'll get scared every second.
Yeah, the longer you wait, like if you're already nervous about something, like let's say you have to go to the dentist to get a cavity filled. Now that's a lot of fun, right? We love doing that. Super fun.
It's not fun. but
It's not fun.
It's not scary.
Well, no, but it's not fun. It doesn't feel good. And the longer you have to wait in the waiting room, the worse it gets, right? And if the dentist is running behind and you're sitting there waiting and waiting for your appointment, and you just kind of feel worse and worse and worse as it goes along, that's kind of Debbie, right? So third, she's not going first, so she doesn't have the pressure of going first. But third means she doesn't have to stand around and wait and wonder and wait and wonder and wait and wonder. Because sometimes the waiting is where the anxiety bites you. Okay, you know what? That's actually a really good place to stop. So we're going to stop there. We're going to get ready for history. And that's it for today.
History test today?
Tomorrow.
Is it work day today?
Yes.